I love the nostalgic feel of the mug in my hand, something warm. You know, if I ran out of coffee, I had to go get coffee. I just didn't like the way that it felt like it was bossing me around. I didn't like to be bossed around like that. Lana here from Girl Teach Me. Today I am talking about how I have quit coffee. It's been 40 days since I've had coffee. I'm even going to take you through a couple of days of when I first got started. I'm going to take you through the whole journey, and it's something I've wanted to do for quite some time for some health reasons that I had been experiencing. But if you're watching this, maybe you're interested in quitting coffee, but maybe it seems like you could never do it, and 100% that's how I felt. I didn't have coffee, coffee had me. So if you can resonate with that feeling at all, I think you're going to gain something from this video. I decided to brew some black tea, this hot cinnamon sunset, and I even did like some steamed milk with it and a little bit of sweetener. It just wasn't that great. So I ended up caving and telling myself, okay, I'm just gonna do 1 cup of coffee instead of like my normal 5 cups of coffee. And honestly, the cup of coffee I made, I usually do French press. It just wasn't even that good. I think that's a victory today. If I can just stay there today, and I was even prepared to take some pain reliever today because I'm sure I'll get that headache. I just don't want anything to rule me. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at, is I don't want to be ruled by anything. I'm feeling okay only because I have chai tea latte to look forward to. I think if there wasn't something really yummy, I would not be looking forward to it. So I'm gonna make one for Matt and I. See how it goes. It's making me a little sad that there's still my coffee stuff over here, so I should probably remove that so I don't even like see it as a nudge, you know. My French press makes me a little sad.
That's good.
I'm drinking some green tea from Stash. It's pretty good. I don't really feel like I'm missing coffee this morning. That chai tea was really, really good. I'm gonna sit down and get some homeschool planning done. No coffee, still going all right. I wonder if I'll get a headache today. That's what I'm kind of thinking, so. I'm still sipping on lots of caffeine. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but I just feel like I have a caffeine addiction, and so I feel like I'm coming off that slowly, but I have the headache today because I drank chamomile this morning, which has no caffeine, and so yeah, so I'm gonna go in this coffee shop. This is the second time I've been in a coffee shop in a week because it's like Thanksgiving weekend and traveling, and so it's hard to go into a coffee shop and not get coffee, but not as hard as I thought. I got a chai tea latte and a matcha latte the last time I was in a coffee shop, and I did not like the matcha very much. I had tried matcha with like a packet that has collagen in it, and that wasn't as bad, but this matcha yesterday was pretty strong. But the chai tea latte is actually pretty good. I think the thing I'm struggling with is just this identity, like, am I never gonna be a coffee drinker again? It's like that simple pleasure in life, but I just don't think my body likes it. But I'm definitely sipping on something hot and warm with a little bit of caffeine to kind of help me, but it doesn't have near the caffeine that coffee does. Still no coffee, feeling pretty good, feeling sometimes a little too chill. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I've got to find a reason to get out of the bed in the morning because I don't have that, I don't want to get out of bed thought. Oh, I can have coffee thought, you know. And so it's really made me lean in and think, what's going to get me out of the bed? Sipping on some Wake Up winter tea and definitely hitting the pain medicine when my head starts to hurt. This is a more homeopathic version called Genexa, but definitely just use the big guns if you need to, because I know that headache can be super real. I still think it's worth it. It's been worth it to me. I feel so much more level-headed, and I don't feel like I'm having these like massive highs and lows, and I don't feel like I'm having these big cortisol spikes where like the sounds are like too much, or the motherhood anger flips as quickly. You know, I still struggle with it, but I definitely see that the caffeine was just too much and was definitely making me more touchy and stressed out and just overall anxious, and so feeling pretty good. Okay, so I'm still going, and I think the thing that I really am loving right now is that it feels like my thoughts are more continuous. Like, I struggle with ADHD, and so it's like posting notes all over my brain all the time, and it feels like my brain is constantly switching channels. And when I'm on coffee, it feels like they flip through, my brain just flips through channels all the time. And so I'm feeling a lot more like focused, feeling like I can keep a train of thought longer, because on coffee it felt like it just like sped up my brain, but not necessarily my body. And when my body and my brain couldn't like match energy wise, like I couldn't move as fast as my brain, it made me feel anxious. So that's feeling really good. The other thing is I just changed my little coffee station to a tea station, and I feel like just removing my French press and my grinder has been a really good nudge that I'm not missing something, but instead like this is what I can have. Matt and I are really big on setting our home up to have nudges for the people we want to be. And for so many days I still had my French press and grinder out, and it kind of made me sad, you know? And so I feel like that's been a good change to just look at that and be like, oh, there's my tea. And it just makes it so much easier to grab that. All right, we're leaving our getaway and we just stopped at a coffee shop. At this point, I am almost done with 30 days, no coffee. And it was really painful to walk into a coffee shop, a really good coffee shop. They were roasting their own coffee and everything, making their own donuts. And I got a chai latte.
Out of a box.
Out of a box. I could have had freshly roasted coffee, and I got chai mix out of a box that's like naturally flavored. You know, I'm such a snob about that kind of stuff. I'm like, why would I do that? But I was just telling Matt before we went in there, I feel so much better. I feel so much more level. I feel like I don't have the peaks and the valleys as much, and I don't want to lose that feeling, even for just like a momentary nice coffee, you know? I will be fine with my chai right now. It's a warm thing in my hand. I'm sleeping better. I wouldn't say that getting up in the morning is necessarily easier, because it's just hard for me anyways. I think the other thing is I'm getting my time back. You know, it's not like, and I'm getting my mental space back where I'm not constantly like scanning my brain for when am I going to get coffee? How am I going to get coffee? Well, that time is now put into a more productive use, where I felt like before it was such a crutch. I had to have it. I had to make it. It was like nothing could happen before then. It just feels like I can roll into the things I want to do or I need to do without that like crutch right by my side. Like I've got to have that coffee. This is going to be harder than you think it is. It's okay to take some pain medicine. It's okay to have lots of other caffeine sources to kind of just break that habit. Because a lot of times it's just that habit of making coffee, or that habit of getting that buzz, or that instant source of like, woo, let's go, to get that in other ways. And honestly, I think movement gives us energy, water gives us energy, getting out in the sunlight. Maybe just give it a try, give it 30 days. You don't have to quit it forever. You know, it doesn't have to be a complete identity change that you're not a coffee drinker anymore. But I will say that changing my identity, that saying those words out loud, I don't drink coffee anymore. There's a lot of power in those words. That was really helpful to just like avoid the temptation. So if you don't hear it anywhere else, you can quit if you want to. Go watch this last video I did. It's called You Can Still Change. I think it will be so applicable to the situation that you're in. I think it's gonna be so applicable to trying to quit coffee or anything else you wanna change. So go check out that video, and thanks for watching.
Generation to generation, passed down through every age. There's a story of a savior whose love will never change.